Part 115. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1151. Chapter 1151 in turn threatens. You dare to, the four-armed desolate race great treasure can clearly say that you dare to lick my face, but he has not had time to shout it out, and a Tathagata divine glow has pierced his mind. The four-armed desolate race great treasure divine consciousness, although it is more arrogant than Weisuo, but it was attacked by Weisuo, such as Tathagata divine glow, he couldn't stand it. Suddenly, a surging sound roared into a surging sound scream. Dang! One of the surging sounds blasted, and it was another foot, squatting in his face. Pu. At the same time as the four-armed desolate race great treasure, Weisuo reached out and stirred Yufeng Reverend's black divine mark, a black divine mark mask. The four-armed desolate race great treasure that can fly backwards can be trapped. This black divine mark mask came out, and the four-armed desolate race great treasure suddenly appeared in the eyes of the panic god, but in the next moment, this panic turned into an extremely fierce embarrassment. This is not good, he has to rely on the restrictions to play strong power. Your three horses are fully defended. This extremely fierce embarrassing reveals. Weisuo suddenly felt it, shocked, and stopped hard, and the Shaanxi shapeshift great art field and the black scorpion magical horse appeared, while facing Wang Wei. Waiting for three people to have a surging sound great treasure called. Desolate race is desolate race after all. From the mouth of Ling Longtian, Weisuo knows that every desolate race is like a natural ancient war god. Under this lust shape, this desolate race great treasure can be thoroughly being spurred by fierce flames. The eyes at the moment are very scary and extremely crazy. It seems that who is going to kill in front of him, and the gods will kill. Shua. Weisuo's surging sound is almost just sounding, and a breathtaking indigo divine light has swept out from the front of the four-armed desolate race great treasure. Hong, Wang Wei and others did not have time to take the shot. Weisuo's evolution of the shapeshift great art field and the powerful energy of the black scorpion have all collapsed. Hey! Just as Weisuo was in the midst of a surging sound, Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor shot, a cyan divine light was like a sapphire sword, and it was smashed in the indigo divine light. Ka! The divine light, which is the same as the sword of the sapphire, broke down instantly, but with this hindrance, Weisuo had the opportunity to move the void-walking step shapeshift great art, which led to the move of Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor and Wang Wei. Avoided the indigo divine light hit. A smashing magical screaming of the human body, the four-armed desolate race great treasure can seem to be more powerful than the powerful energy of the ancient emperor corpse. Even Weisuo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor has no shapeshift great art and can only dodge. Oh, indigo divine light is like a long river, impacting the black divine mark, smashing the black divine mark in this space, and was torn like a piece of rag. This is not good. Until then, Wang Wei and Sushengxiu, Tourmaline sect master had three talents to take the shot, and the divine light appeared in the around the body of Weisuo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor, but at this time, Weisuo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor is a face-changing face. Indigo divine light's Yu Wei not only swept out, but also swept three ancient bronze temples. Suddenly, the three bronze-colored ancient temples were lit up like three candle lights. In a flash, the three groups of the terrifying magical resurrection. A blazing silver-colored divine mark, a blood-red terrifying beam, and a purple and green entangled divine light come directly from the three bronze-colored temples. The difference is that the purple and green twisted divine light instantly turns into a light curtain that protects dozens of the same ancient bronze temples, and the blazing silver-white divine mark and the blood-red beam. However, it is swept toward Weisuo and others and the four-armed desolate race great treasure. This Weisuo is completely changed. The silver-colored divine mark, like the tide, is fine. Weisuo feels almost a hit of the equivalent to Black Bodhi Tianmuo, but the blood-red terrifying beam is clearly distinguishing him from a far divine mystic. Terrifying powerful energy, so that his cold hair is almost tree. This blood-red terrifying light column looks unremarkable, but it gives him the feeling that there are countless great treasures. The shapeshift great art field superposition is completely true immortal, which makes him feel that there is no shapeshift great art. Shua. And more let his creepy is, at this time, a Sinorama from the original Four Arms Desolate Race Great Treasure can place a lot of huge great treasure stone coffin in the red copper color ancient hall, like break through the limit of time and space generally, but is an innumerable divine mark condense yellow talons, just one claw, will Four Arms Desolate Race Great Treasure can be taken from the place, directly grabbed back to the ancient temple. Among the ancient bronze temples, there is a more powerful Desolate Race Great Treasure that can be shot. This shot is unimaginable. The blood-red terrifying beam has already been produced, but the blood-red terrifying beam has not been swept, and the four-armed Desolate Race Great Treasure has been directly captured by the claw. What kind of divine ability is this? The Desolate Race Great Treasure is sure to know how many times it is terrifying than this four-armed Desolate Race Great Treasure. SS. In addition to the Black Light, Zhang Sunjing and Zhang Sunziru and others have all solidified, but they are unconsciously pumping air. They can see clearly that this time the shot is a Desolate Race Great Treasure with 8 arms and a pair of flesh wings. The Desolate Race Great Treasure was able to sit on the ground while shooting, and the head had a hole with white light flashing. And this Desolate Race Great Treasure can reveal an unusually old atmosphere. It is not because of the injury and the exhaustion of Origin Chi. It is now a skinny scene, but it is already very old. Now this Desolate Race Great Treasure can lift the head slightly, and the white light is shining in the eyes. It looks very terrifying, and he can directly capture the four-armed Desolate Race Great Treasure into the ancient temple. Only Wei Suo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor were left to resist the blazing silver-white divine mark and the blood-red terrifying beam. You don't want to shoot, so as not to cause a more powerful treasure of the great treasure. At this time, the surging sound of Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor also fell into the ears of Wei Suo and others. Among his eyes, there were also 2 blue-white divine jade lights. One of his hands stretched out, like a peerless sword, and he marched toward the void in front. Shua. A piece of illusion, Wei Suo only felt that the naked body was sinking, the terrifying blood-red beam and the silver-white divine mark eyelids swept away from himself and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor, but they did not sweep at all. He is the means of the empty road. His attack, actually pulled out a void crack in the void, put us in, and escaped the blow. Just a loss of consciousness, Wei Suo reacted. Tearing the void, this is a means of heaven defying, and Wei Suo couldn't help but turn around when he reacted. Just saw the old ancestor of Zhang Sun aristocratic family, but his heart was even more shocking. Mouth, but there is no surging sound. The naked body of the former Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor is like cyan divine jade. It is crystal clear, but now it is like a group of water, giving a feeling of being broken. The restrictions counter powerful energy is too strong. Great treasure, I can only do this. My powerful energy has begun to weaken. The surging sound of Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor was introduced into Wei Suo's ear. Old ancestor, in addition to the black light, several people in the Zhang Sun aristocratic family have a surge sound. They can also see that in order to resist this blow, Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor is also the limit. The power of secret place has been start to dissipate. Shua. But at this time, Huang Daijun and others saw the bronzed ancient temple, the plate sitting on the ground, the white light of the very old 8-armed desolate race great treasure, and the flickered for a moment. At the same time, in the Wei Suo sea of consciousness, as if suddenly an invisible palm was reached, the entire consciousness of Wei Suo's was pinched and the roots were removed. Wei Suo is extremely stunned, subconsciously moving motionless bright heart, a seemingly surging sound in his mind, a transparent crystal and the invisible palm burst at the same time. Call Wei Suo great treasure gasping, like a palm with his palms pinched for a long time, finally released. Motionless bright heart. No wonder you can resist the Tathagata divine glow, you have got the legacy of true spirit. At the same time, a very surging sound, but with a super-sounding sound, rang in the black light. Sitting on the ground, the eight-armed deserty race great treasure can surging sound and talk to Wei Suo, as long as you obediently tell us, where you got this inheritance and worked for us, we can put you in a path. Flatulence Wei Suo's face doesn't even have a trace of blood. There are more snow-white butt whites, but the great treasure is smashed. If you can still shoot, you have already dealt with us, and will still be with me nonsense, I am afraid that you have no ability to use the god medicine to treat others. Otherwise, you have to desperately pull the guy back to do something. Don't directly set shapeshift great art to kill us. Instead, save the person, even if you kill us, you can't save the guy. You don't have shapeshift great art to save a few. Come out, can't draw. Still want to scare me, when are you scared of great treasure? If you have the ability, let me show it again. You have no power at all, and you want to let me live. I tell you, the more Wei Suo is called the great treasure surging sound, the more arrogant, the one hand is inserted into the waist, and the hand points to the ancient temple where the eight-armed desolate race great treasure can be pointed. You are all going now, come out and surrender to me, I will let you live a life. Wei Suo's looks like everyone. Although Zhang Sunjing and others can't hear what Wei Suo is calling, but look at Wei Suo's, they can see that Wei Suo is threatening these desolate race great treasure can. Now the eight-armed desolate race great treasure in the ancient hall can scare people, and in addition to the eight-armed desolate race great treasure, there are more than 30 desolate race great treasures that can sit around. Terrifying is extreme, but Wei Suo refers to a little bit of reprimanding and threatening these great treasures. For a time, everyone's heads are not enough. After Wei Suo's arrogant words were called out, the ancient temple was in silence. Good, you are very courageous, but do you think you can attack it? Can we escape if we recover one or two? After a moment of speechlessness, the old surging sound sounded again. It's scaring me. Wei Suo was suddenly a cold sweat, the vests were all wet, and this was really gambled by him. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1152. Chapter 1152 One Person Independent. I still want to scare me, Wei Suo, although already in a cold sweat, but more arrogant, you do not come out to surrender, I really cannot rush in to kill you all, but I see you in desolate race inside also is only inferior goods, presumably you also have no shapeshift great art control these great treasure ban, if I now shapeshift great art device to come over, maybe just affect these restrictions powerful energy, enough to drink a pot, I see you still obediently come out and surrender. Now, Wei Suo has already confirmed that these desolate race great treasure can still secret place in the stage of showing strength while weak inside. There is no shapeshift great art shot at all, so he is simply arrogant and try this batch of desolate race great treasure. Is there any control over this inside restrictions? There is a moment of silence in the ancient bronze temple. You try it out. After a moment of silence, a surging sound of the old surging sound of the raging anger was passed from the ancient bronze hall. Shua. After this surging sound, the entire copper-colored ancient hall suddenly burst out of countless dazzling indigo divine mark, forming a round oval ball, wrapped in the entire copper-colored temple. What did he say? Actually stunned these fields outer heavens demon, and it also provoked the ancient bronze hall, afraid that he would attack, black light dome outside, Zhang Sunjing, Zhang Sunziru and Huang Daijun and other people all see completely inconceivable, they vaguely see clearly, the red copper color ancient temple all Panzuo desolate great race can, including that was taken back to the four-arm desolate race great treasure can all be angry all over so trembling, a cloud of magic mist like the waves in the red copper color of the ancient temple, but including the forearm's desolate race great treasure can want to be swept out to seem to have been drinking stopped, which inside a see not clear face and image of the desolate race great treasure can but instead of the restrictions of this copper-colored ancient temple, but is formed such a pudgy oval-shaped indigo ball, keep this copper-colored ancient temple in the inside. Even then they could not see the scene inside the ancient bronze hall. I actually made a tortoise shell and tightened it myself. When the divine mark great treasure of the ancient bronze hall was bright, Wei Suo was also shocked, but when he saw such a scene, he was also a bit stunned and immediately surprised. He this clamor out two results. One is the inside of the desolate race great treasure cannot be what he said in the lower goods, inner, or some people know some of the restrictions of the ancient temple of copper, but this inner desolate race great treasure can either only know how to control the bronze color of the ancient temple restrictions, or is simply unable to move other restrictions, move this copper color ancient temple restrictions are reluctantly. In addition, the restrictions powerful energy of this ancient copper colored temple is really Ponte great treasure. It is impossible not to affect each other. These desolate race great treasures are very weak, and they are afraid that Wei Suo will really affect restrictions powerful energy. It's just that the great treasure of the ancient bronze hall inside is banned from powerful energy. Some should help the defense, and some should be purely powerful energy. Restrictions, like the three ancient bronze temples that were spurred by the party, one of them is a powerful energy that protects a piece of great treasure around it. At this moment, the ancient bronze hall where these desolate race great treasure can be located is of the utmost importance. The rest of the ancient bronze temple is only the fortress of the ancient temple, so the ancient energy of this ancient bronze temple should be the strongest. That layer of blue divine mark, every layer is as deep as a star. With Wei Suo's current divine ability, it is impossible to compete with it. But the point is that Wei Suo itself is a virtual surging sound, and it is impossible to get in as much as he is yelling. What he really wants to do is to mobilize heavenly tribulation to deal with this desolate race great treasure, and set the shapeshift great art to break the great heavens nature bottle. Now these desolate race great treasures can be caught by him, the turtles can't come out inside, rehabilitate, and save the other desolate race great treasure inside, which is of course the best for him. He can now let go. Dry. See if you can add a few more great treasures to help you increase your chances of resisting heavenly tribulation. Do you think this is useful? I don't believe that I can't deal with you. Look at me and arrange a few great treasures to ban you. After the arrogance of such a scream, Wei Suo Ma Fei quickly looked at the ancient copper-colored temple around the hill and the ground below. This kid is too arrogant. People who are like ants, dare to call it If I don't want to break the bones and cramps, I will die with the remaining grievance. Be sure to cramp this kid. Patience, patience, wait for us to recover almost, rush out, want to deal with him and deal with him. Be sure to hold Anyway, a divine mystic ant can arrange something, unless it is a true immortal 3/4 layer character, it is possible to pose a threat to this restrictions. Among the ancient bronze temples, the magic shadows of a magnificent giant treasure are all suffocating, snarling, and admonishing each other. It is really a group dance. At this time, Wei Suo has had preliminary findings. Except for the ancient bronze halls where these desolate race great treasures can be enveloped by a layer of indigo divine mark, the rest of the ancient bronze halls seem to be empty, just to the unique shapeshift great art. The great treasure is forbidden. Although the material of the ancient bronze hall seems to be the same, but the inside does not know how many rune and divine marks are engraved. In these ancient bronze temples, he did not do shapeshift great art at all. However, the ground is very flat, like the essence metal made of ferroniobium. It doesn't feel any origin chi fluctuations, but it can be tried. Great treasure is a great treasure in the chaos. You are indeed the top figure in our time. I don't think you are so bold and precious treasure. These fields outer heavens demon are scared by you seeing that Wei Suo stopped and looked at the ground while trying to go deep into the secret place, The powerful energy of the body was already in the beginning of the scattered Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. Young people, my time is running out. What else do you want me to do? Senior Zhangsun, can you still help me with this restrictions? Wei Suo see Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor body has become like a group of water, even the facial features are already a little fuzzy, but he knew this is not sentimental time. To naked aristocratic family old ancestor after a ceremony, will be the fairy beautiful woman to his true spirit hex in the quartet cloud ban layout scripture great art point to Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor before. This four-way cloud ban is a great treasure ban that can be used to stabilize one of origin chi. It can ensure that the restrictions in the area will continue to maintain normal power energy during the heavenly tribulation without being affected by the chaotic origin chi fluctuations. This great treasure is forbidden to be engraved on the spot by divine mark and rune. Without the shapeshift great art, the shapeshift great art with the pre-array flag is brought along with the great treasure. Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor has passed away earlier than planned, so Wei Suo must also quickly arrange restrictions in the true spirit hex scripture that can block the divine consciousness exploration, so that the desolate race great treasure can be made ahead of time. His real motivation is to dying. He even wanted to set up a shapeshift great art array that would isolate these desolate race great treasures from sight and sense, so that he would be more open to the shapeshift great art array and restrictions. Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor will help him to arrange this four-way cloud ban and will give him more time. It should be okay. I will fight this disability and help you arrange this great treasure. Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor looked at the shapeshift great art of the four clouds and smiled. I don't think I can do such a crazy great treasure with you before I fall. This place motivates heavenly tribulation to deal with so many domains outer heavens demon. Whatever you did today, you will be rumored by the future cultivation world. Wei Suo said this to Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor. The horse again pointed the shapeshift great art of the restrictions to the front of Wang Wei and Sushengxiu and Tourmaline sect master. You three, help me. Arrange these few restrictions. Wang Wei and Sushengxiu, Tourmaline sect master, although they have been tempered by Purdue divine light, they are already the most loyal servants on their side, but realm and cultivation base are not lost, and some restrictions are not arranged. What is the problem? This ground desolate race is not equipped with restrictions and can be used. Wei Suo first tried to engrave a simple rune shapeshift great art array on the ground, so that his eyes quickly flashed the ecstasy. The rune shapeshift great art array quickly succeeded without any change. As soon as practicable, Wei Suo horses carefully arranged one of the true spirit hex scriptures to isolate the great treasure array of divine consciousness exploration and an illusory light class restrictions that isolate the line of sight. What did he say? These fields outer heavens demon really shriveled, and he actually started directly inside. Big Brother Wei is really amazing. In addition to the black light, Zhang Sunjing and others only feel more and more admired Wei Suo. Wei Suo was prepared, and at the time of exaltation sect, he had already realized a few restrictions that were very likely to be arranged. Some of the crystal stone materials used were also prepared, and even some rune were engraved, just like Quadro the great treasure of the cloud ban is congeal divine mark. If he wants to arrange it, he will also congeal divine mark. The shapeshift great art will be released soon, and the rest of restrictions will not be counted for him. Difficult. Just a little less than an hour, the great treasure array used to isolate divine consciousness was laid out, and the bizarre brilliance of the blue waves spread out 1,000 miles. Next, it is a great treasure for the illusory light class. It is less than an hour. The layered and faint light curtains are filled with the entire black light. This is followed by Zhang Sunjing and others. I can't see the traces of Wei Suo and others inside. Wei Suo and others are not busy for a moment, and Wang Weital have also arranged several restrictions to block heavenly tribulation and desolate race great treasure divine consciousness. The light flame, mist, filled with the entire black light. Wei Suo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor began to carefully move toward the deep secret place of the copper temple under the cover of established restrictions. The depth of this piece of copper-colored temples is 3,000 and a few hundred miles, and Pang Great Treasure is unimaginable. The two people stayed in the vicinity of the center only 700 or 800 miles away from the four-armed desolate race Great Treasure, and then Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor began to arrange the four-party cloud ban, and Wei Suo was also non-stop nearby. Arrange other restrictions. After 2 days, the desolate race Great Treasure in the ancient copper temple was still no change, and the Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor finally engraved the last divine mark in the square. My horse is about to fall, no shapeshift great art and you are facing each other, and then you are alone after the Sifang cloud ban was placed. The splendid light of the Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor had begun to extinguish. The entire naked body had been like a layer of water vapor, and it was dissipated at any time. I see Zhang Sun's Iru. The girl also admire you for the 5 naked body. We are together with the enemy. It is a fate. If you can survive this robbery, I will be able to help you in the future. Help 1 or 2 Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor looking at Wei Suo, you are welcome, faintly said this sentence. Necessarily Wei Suo also gave a tribute to the old ancestor of the Zhang Sun aristocratic family. Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor nodded, and the whole body naked body shook, and then turned into a star of light, and completely dissipated. Wang Wei and others are still busy at the secret place. Wei Suo stands next to the dissipated Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor, and the whole black light seems to be left alone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1153. Chapter 1153 The Great Treasure Show begins. Wang Wei, you rushed this ancient talisman out to find Zhang Sun Jing. They saw that the shapeshift great art with the definite square has been sent. If it has already been sent, you will bring it in. Tell Zhang Sun Jing that Senior Zhang Sun has fallen, but the lust is good, so they don't have to come in. After the death of Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor, Wei Suo stood for a while and then pointed 2 pieces of ancient talisman to Wang Wei and said, "This can break the black twilight of this ancient talisman." When Wei Suo and Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor entered, there were only 3 pieces left. When they entered, they had already used 1 piece. The remaining 2 pieces were only enough for Wang Wei. Go in and out again. To Wang Wei, it means that Wei Suo himself is sure that there is no shapeshift great art in and out, unless the heavenly tribulation is used to completely break the black light. The reason why Wei Suo doesn't go out by himself is because no one can eat the desolate race great treasure inside. When the Wei Suo leaves, the inside of the desolate race great treasure can come out, and the situation becomes very complicated. After Wang Wei left, Wei Suo began to arrange restrictions. It was only a moment of time. The black light of the secret place was a slight shock, and Wu Wei swept in again. Deist Wei, this set of shapeshift great art has been sent, and in addition to this versatile shapeshift great art, they bring you a lot of water attribute monster core and spirit pellet. After Wang Wei swept to Wei Suo's, he reached out and put several treasure receiving pockets in front of Wei Suo's. All right. Wei Suo's gaze was only between the flashes. Only 1 treasure receiving pocket was opened, and 4 great treasures of 5 or 6 people were on the rise. These 4 great great treasures are all embossed rune with many crystal stones embedded in them. In addition to the 4 great treasures of the great treasure, there are more than 50 unique 1-foot-long crystal columns rising out. You 3 are in accordance with this arrangement of shapeshift great art, and this great treasure is banned. After glanced at these shapeshift great art devices, Wei Suo reached out and placed the shapeshift great art, which was placed on the great square great treasure, in front of Wang Wei and others. Wang Wei and others nodded without any nonsense and began to arrange quickly. The great treasure of the great treasure is only the refining of these shapeshift great art machines. After these shapeshift great art machines are refining, they are only equilateral to the one-sided array flag, as long as the orientation and distance of the arrangement are not problematic. That's it. This is naturally very easy for Wang Wei and others, but it is less than the half stick of incense time. This great treasure is banned. What is this kid doing? There are still people coming in and out. Does he really want to use restrictions to deal with us? Don't worry, the current cultivation world has not even had the characters of true immortal level. Even if the restrictions are arranged, it will lead to the recoil of our restrictions' powerful energy. It is impossible to break the powerful energy of our temple. The desolate race great treasure in the ancient copper temple can't help but when Weisuo etals non-stop arrangement of restrictions. If Zhang Sunjing and Weisuo can see the whole picture of this ancient copper temple, they will feel more infiltrated. The inside of this ancient copper temple is like the cabin of a huge ship. The giant treasure inside is embedded in the wall. There are 2 layers, which is more than Weisuo and others expected. There are a total of 200. Many. In addition to the lively desolate race, there is a lot of desolate race great treasure in this giant treasure. The proportion of great treasure is half and half. Great treasure most of the desolate race great treasure can be very ruined, like divine iron, but full of terrifying scars. Some of the entire head has been destroyed, countless holes, some even the whole body naked. The body was beaten with only a third. Among the 100 or so desolate race great treasures, more than 70 people have walked out of the sarcophagus and sat on the ground. The 4-armed desolate race great treasure can still be used in the shapeshift great art, the blue magical medicine in hand and the half great treasure. And this total of 100 or so desolate race great treasure seems to be able to survive. The damage of the great treasure is also very terrifying. Some of them are broken into pieces, some heart arteries have been thoroughly penetrated, and some of the heads are cracked open. Some of them have strong great treasure origin. Chi power is shining, the powerful energy that has been penetrated by the other party has not dissipated yet. These still live deserty race great treasures and the bodies of the deserty race great treasure show how terrible the battle was, and also show how the life of the desert race and the divine ability are. To this Weisuo at this moment is ignorant. If he can see the scene in the temple, the only thing I think is lucky. The temple desolate race great the level of treasure can indeed not be particularly high, which cultivation base the highest should be the 8-armed desolate race great treasure can, except the 8-armed desolate race great treasure, the rest is only 6 arms desolate race great treasure, and the 8-armed desolate race great treasure can be previously shot. Lust's situation is also very bad. The original has been dried up. Naked body seems to be a small circle. After waiting for the great treasure to be arranged, Weisuo spent a half day in the great treasure, arranged a defensive class shapeshift great art array, then stopped and sat down behind a secret place. True Spirit Hex Scripture. The useful shapeshift great art array, the layout can be arranged, the rest is either enough power, there is no secret place, or at least true immortal can be arranged with the cultivation base to ban the great treasure. It is impossible to arrange it. Now that everything is ready, the only thing he can do next is to use the Eternal Saint King Scripture to engrave divine marks to upgrade his mortal body cultivation base, and then watch the opportunity to lead heavenly tribulation. Adding the 3 divine marks collected by Zhang Sun aristocratic family, plus the 5 divine marks contributed by Wang Wei, Sushengxiu and Tourmaline sect master, Weisuo now has the number of great treasures divine mark at hand. Many. The more you can engrave, the better you can with heavenly tribulation, and the success rate is of course more great treasure. What happened to Big Brother Wei? Zhang Sun Xiru couldn't help but say this again. Since Wang Wei came out and went in, the girl who saw Weisuo as an idol couldn't help but ask for such a sentence every half hour. The black light inside is dead, and the shapeshift great art mirror of the Zhangsun aristocratic family is filled with all kinds of blurred light arcs, and you can't see the inside. Every time Huang Daijun and others heard the words of Zhangsun's Iru, they all showed helpless smiles. Everyone is very nervous, but everyone knows very well. Now they are not helping anyone. They can only rely on Wei Suo. And everyone knows that Wei Suo is now completely playing with fire in the barrel of oil. His thoughts on shapeshift great art are very clear. It will delay a little time, not only allowing you to engrave several divine marks with eternal Saint King scripture. And you can also let those desolate race great treasures recover more strength, and then let them do more to resist some heavenly tribulation. But it's also extremely dangerous to do so. In the event that any of these desolate race great treasures can be completely restored, divine ability is not what they can imagine at all, at least the power of the eight-armed desolate race great treasure. It is simply no match for shapeshift great art. Now Wei Suo is just betting that these desolate race great treasures are not so easy to recover. I bet that they have the legacy that these desolate race great treasures want to know. I want to know the whereabouts of spirit race from him. One or two of them are very well recovered, and they will not kill him if they start, and will kill him. In such an imaginative and fearsome life and death gamble, Wei Suo can also use the eternal Saint King scripture to engrave divine marks, which really makes Huang Daijun and others feel very admired. Time is constantly flowing. I will go out and get this kid back. Among the ancient halls of the Kanjak, a surging sound full of sorrow sounds, and a desolate race great treasure with a crack in the chest can stand up, bite his teeth, and can't say anything. The desolate race great treasure can be 5 feet tall, and the flesh and blood of the whole body has been reborn. The muscles are tyrannical like a piece of indigo fine iron. He also has 4 arms growing, but there are obviously 2 high ridges behind him. Like a pair of flesh wings or a pair of arms to grow. He was swaying with black light, and his breath was already more sturdy than the 4-armed desolate race great treasure, just a little old-fashioned. At this moment, the 4-armed desolate race great treasure can also stop and sit in the air, and all the still-lived deserty race great treasures have all gone out of the sarcophagus, with more than 100 people sitting on the ground. This 4-armed desolate race great treasure can also seem to be too great loss, and there is no shapeshift great art to apply shapeshift great art, but his blue god drugs are not completely consumed, and there are pigeon eggs. The great treasure is a small one. I can also shoot, let's go out together. This kid can't escape. Another sharp surging sound rang, and the surging sound was thin, wearing a yellow shapeshift great art suit, literati dress, head snow white but white, face is completely there is no flesh and blood, like an old ghost, but it is the cultivator great treasure of desolate race. This great treasure can have a strong true immortal chi, at the peak of the year, at least the real true immortal. Don't worry, after the surging sound of the 2 men, the old 8-armed desolate race great treasure can be surging sound. There are now great treasures. The half members are extremely weak. If the restrictions are removed, they will be shocked by powerful energy. At least 1/3 of us here are going to fall. Wait patiently for a while, waiting for us to be born. This person will run to the ends of the earth, and definitely can't run away. Good. The sturdy deserty race great treasure and the old ghost-like great treasure that the scribes dressed up were all pressed, and glanced at the outside and sat down again. Here you go. I don't know how long it has been, with a surging sound of the 8-armed desolate race great treasure, a surging sound of boom, the entire ancient temple seems to be one of the fried, full of more than 70 desolate race great treasure can stand up from the ground. The endless devils are rippling in the naked body of these desolate race great treasures, and the endless demonic chi is oscillating like a tide. A statue of the noble treasure is standing like a group of ancient demon gods, coming out from ancient times. The remaining 30 desolate race great treasures have no shapeshift great art action, but their eyes are also terrifying magic light, piercing in the void like lightning, bursting into a roaring surging sound, from their mouth. Come out. After 6 or 70 years, we are reborn. Now the world is different, no one can stop us in desolate race, and the era of our desolate race has begun. The 8-armed desolate race great treasure can sing again, and a 6-armed desolate race great treasure can reach out, and a rainbow of light strikes a shapeshift great art in the great treasure hall. Go in. The indigo divine mark, which is layered around this ancient temple, is disappearing, and all the desolate race great treasures are thrilled. Shua. At the same time, Wei Suo, who was sitting behind a great treasure hall, opened his eyes and stood up. His eyes, like cold electricity, burst into the void. Compared with before, his body seems to have more and more mysterious atmosphere, and at this moment, standing up, a decisive and persevering breath, like a sword, stabbed from his body. Everyone, old devil, thank you for waiting for the concert for 6 or 70 years, and the great treasure show begins. After saying this to the ancient temple where the desertate great treasure can be, Kaka, a surging sound burst, a water spirit Yuan Chi rushed, and the remaining days of Wei Suo's remaining hands on the palm of the hand, primordial spirit Dan, were shattered and involved in the naked body. At this moment, Zhang Sunjing and others who stayed in the Black Heavens Dome far away Secret Place Valley were also shocked. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1154. Chapter 1154 The First Heavenly Tribulation in Wanyan. Hong. Once the primordial spirit Dan's origin chi merged into Wei Suo's true Yuan, the two divine mystic avatars in the Wei Suo naked body shook abruptly. This is an unusual and mysterious feeling. Just as Wei Suo felt his two divine mystic avatars, origin chi, violently trembled, the whole world was completely shaken. It seems that there is a great treasure mountain falling down, stumbling another one, and then one after another, countless invisible great treasure mountains, chain reaction, began to fall down and extend to the secret place infinity. In addition to the black light, Zhang Sunjing, Zhang Sunziru, Huang Daijun, and others saw that the endless heights turned into red in an instant, but they could not be seen, but they could clearly feel the embarrassment. Amazing degree, expanding. This is not good, we may be affected by this place. It's too late, we have a shapeshift great art. At this moment, everyone has completely changed their face. Two former Sunshine aristocratic family horses in this secret place have a shapeshift great art machine similar to Immortal Ascension platform. Under magnificent light flashes, all the man disappeared from the place and appeared to be traced more than 10,000 miles away. The area covered by black light is over 3,000 miles, and they are located nearly 4,000 miles away from the black light, but at this moment, all people can still feel it, to be devastated. Go in. Go back. Even so, Huang Daijun and others still felt that it was not enough. They were fully escape light and rolled up Zhang Sunziru and others. Heavenly tribulation is already moving. Big Brother Wei has moved heavenly tribulation. Heavenly tribulation, which has never been swayed for thousands of years, was motivated by Wei Suo. And just in a flash, the breathing of all of them has completely stopped, and the shock of the mind is difficult to describe in words. They see that in the sky of the vast Greta Treasure Valley where the black light is located, it has all turned into a dazzling ruby-like color, and the whole sky seems to have become a giant red treasure of the great treasure. Among the endless heights, there are tens of thousands of ancient heavenly dragons in the air, roaring, a fundamentally indescribable roaring surging sound, roaring in the air. The piece of door is like a great treasure. The little red heavenly fire is densely packed with numerous dazzling trajectories in the sky. It rains like a rainstorm. This kind of scene makes people imagine without shapeshift great art. What happened? Is immortal armament born? How did the earth chi shake so badly? Is it that the secret place is open? Is there a star falling? At this moment, let alone Huang Daijun and others, even near the cloud spirit continent heaven's dome, there are at least 70,000 liters of cultivator from this secret place, and they feel amazing changes. For a time, countless cultivators couldn't help but be attracted, and they were so shocked that they came to this position and wanted to see what happened. Exciting shapeshift great art. At this moment, Wei Suo took a deep breath and drank a surging sound great treasure to Wang Wei and Sushengxiu. At the same time, Wei Suo himself provoked the four-party cloud ban and will have at least 1,000. The water attribute monster core and the spiritual herb came out at once, like countless pearls, suspended in his body. OM. The Ding Ding Quartet Great Treasure was banned by Wang Wei and others. The four great treasures of light pillars with countless rotating slaps of great treasure light rushed out from the four directions of black light, countless slaps of great treasure. The sputtered fountains are generally scattered. Zhang Sun aristocratic family old ancestor the four-party cloud band that was left before the fall also moved, and countless dazzling light waves danced from the void. Ka. Wei Suo the 1,000 water attribute monster core and spiritual herb, almost a general instantaneous collapse. Now heavenly tribulation has been his thorough, but at the same time he is also in divine mystic 4th layer breakthrough divine mystic 5th layer, his two divine incarnation at this time also like into two giant great mystic hornet's nest. The whole body seems to have countless body in open, spell life's pumping origin chi. What happened? How could there be such an amazing origin chi wave? Among the ancient temples, desolate race great treasure, which was originally intended to open a new era, fell from the sky to the endless abyss between a breath. All these excited roars, the preparation of the world's invincible deserty race great treasure can be all stunned at this moment, cannot help but look up. At this time, the divine mark, which is surrounded by the ancient hall of the ancient temple, has not completely dissipated. They can only see the temple roof in the temple when they look inside the temple, but they still carry Pangret treasure one by one. The head. Because all of them, they feel a kind of terrifying pall great treasure. Hong, 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 hong. At this moment, countless comet-like heavenly fires have burned everything outside, and they are hit by black light. The extent of each of these heavenly fires is unimaginable, and each piece has a shocking sound of burning and with a slap in the face, and each piece looks purely red, but a shock is in black. As soon as it exploded, it brought out countless golden flames. This golden flame is the star's true fire and sun true fire. For a time, the black light, bursting open, I don't know how many fireballs, just like countless fire lotuses. Damn, this is not what the great treasure of the kid is said. It is heavenly tribulation. This kid has inspired heavenly tribulation. At this moment, the obvious 8-armed desolate race great treasure can suddenly respond, and great treasure called surging sound. What, heavenly tribulation, in an instant, almost all of the desolate race great treasure can be sweaty. These desolate race great treasures are almost always the cultivation base of true immortal, and several of them have experienced heavenly tribulation, but the more they experienced heavenly tribulation, the more they knew the horror of heavenly tribulation. And whether it's true immortal or heavenly tribulation, these are the cultivation bases of these desolate race great treasures. In the fatal blowdown, and the seal of 6 or 70 years, these desolate race great treasure can, which one dare to say that there is still 50% divine ability at the peak. And even if there is 50% battle strength, this is the lust of the desolate race great treasure, and there is no shapeshift great art lasting. It's like an old candlestick, slowly tapping, and you can still linger. Maybe there is still a chance to find more wax oil to add in, but if you burn a great treasure fire at once, it may burn out completely in a few times. Don't unlock restrictions. Re-energize restrictions. I don't know which desolate race great treasure can, suddenly screamed. No, only the first time to go out and kill the kid, or the restrictions here and our lust shape at the moment may not be able to withstand it. Among the heavenly tribulation, origin chi is a complete disorder, and divine consciousness is affected. Who knows where he is in the secret place? At the same time, there are other great treasures that desolate race great treasure can panic. So many desolate race great treasures in a temple can, at this moment, completely fall into a complete panic, and no one knows who to listen to. In the black light, Wei Suo suddenly looked up and looked. The black light of the entire darkness reflects the innumerable red spots in an instant. Pa! 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 That is, between the breaths, the black pupil was pierced by countless flares, and an unimaginable red stream, with terrifying heat, struck. There is nothing wrong with the record. This is really the beginning of fire cloud heavenly tribulation. Origin chi of the heavens and the earth is so disordered that even the divine consciousness is completely distorted, so good, so they don't have shape-shift great art to kill me. This stock is unimaginable terrifying red stream rushed down. Wei Suo took a deep breath, but the face turned out to have some surprises. The world is completely angry. His divine consciousness can only cover the surrounding area of nearly 100 miles. After 100 miles, everything seems to be distorted. Under this lust shape, those desolate race great treasures can rush out, and it is difficult to quickly show his naked body position. And this is just the beginning. In the next moment, within a radius of 10 miles, it will be completely flooded with all kinds of powerful energy. Before building this place desolate race great treasure and now desolate race great treasure, you don't let me down ah. After Wei Suo licked the sentence, Ma reached out and handed out a stone ball-like thing first. The general thing about this stone ball is that he has already got the divine phoenix stone pellet that can be used to resist the heavenly fire. This heavenly fire, which brings together the stars' true fire and sun true fire, and, without knowing the impact of the high-altitude shock from where secret place, brings an astonishing amount of heat that can be melted by the essence metal of the highest rank, and the Operation S Shape-Shift Great Art Origin Chi will be burned. Cultivation base hard resistance is not done shape-shift great art resistance. Now Wei Suo the only hope is these desolate race great treasure can be left restrictions a little more fierce. Shua. Almost in the black light burst, Wei Suo's heart between the flashes, all the copper-colored ancient temple seems to be resurrected at the same time, and the light shines. Divine light, a glimpse of the sky, looks like a myriad of manifestation, welcoming the endless pouring of heavenly fire. No. Wei Suo was startled, because in the ancient copper hall of a secret place closest to him, there was a terrifying true immortal chi, and a phoenix-like divine light rushed out. He almost swept him. Among the other two ancient temples closest to him, one is the green light of the naked body, forming a sky-washing dark green light column, like a giant stick going to the sky. Another copper-colored ancient temple is the misty blue brilliance emerged, forming a mask that enveloped the shape-shift great art array of Wei Suo and Wei Suo. In the place where Wei Suo is located, 3 defensive shape-shift great art arrays are arranged, with 3 layers of divine light screen covering him. The azure brilliance of this ancient bronze temple did not affect Wei Suo and Wei Suo's restrictions, and the equivalent to a giant great treasure mask outside Wei Suo's. For a time, Wei Suo saw countless smashing divine light rushing out of the valley of this giant great treasure, sweeping in the air and colliding with heavenly fire. The densely covered and overwhelming heavenly fire was only a few that could fall, and the entire valley has now risen to the point where there are not many divine light screens, and a few heavenly fires are shocking. He has already offered divine phoenix stone pellet, and more than a dozen other shape-shift great art and shape-shift great art great treasures that can be used to withstand heavenly fire have also been taken, but the lust situation seems to be still in use. No, he seems to be watching a movie when he is igniting heavenly tribulation. Ladies and gentlemen, you will soon come out to see the show. After a sigh of relief, Wei Suo reached out as he woke up, and made a great treasure to make the all heavens bottle, and went to the top. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 1155. Chapter 1155 Hard Burning War. What's going on? How is the wind of such great treasure, and how is it so gorgeous? Wei Suo ignited heavenly tribulation, not only 10,000 miles away, but also the amazing origin chi fluctuations, and the farther heaven's dome inside, has produced some of the world's variation scenery. The violent origin chi flow formed the great treasure wind, and the mist in the sky was a strange glow. Is there a problem with heaven's dome? Reminiscent of Wei Suo's previous warning about the complete cracking of heaven's dome, many cultivators went to heaven's dome to find problems, and when they came out to heaven's dome, many people now have problems with heavenly tribulation. Many sects and rogue cultivators rushed to Wei Suo to lead the heavenly tribulation to see what kind of lust. At the same time, Wei Suo is extremely focused on producing a powerful energy, holding the great heaven's nature bottle on the top of his head, and constantly accepting the impact of heavenly fire. Pa. Every heavenly fire impact is a surging sound on the great heaven's nature bottle, heavenly fire is spread out, and the great heaven's nature bottle is still safe. Now this giant great treasure valley, so many copper ancient temple surface burst out of powerful energy, where true immortal to powerful energy have great treasure, but Wei Suo also only dare to let heavenly fire impact great heaven's nature bottle, dare not let great heaven's nature bottle too hard knock those powerful energy. Difficult to break is one thing, another the key point is that, with great heaven's nature bottle too hard to touch those powerful energy, it is difficult to control. Accidentally did not know where to be hit. In this case, all of the outside is heavenly fire, divine consciousness is distorted, and the position is already unclear. When it is hit, it is hard to find. It seems that there are so many great treasures of the robbery. In the fire cloud heavenly tribulation, no one has made me so easy. Wei Suo looked up at the sky, from the beginning of the heavenly tribulation to now, just a few dozens of breaths of the past, but the whole God seems to have been lit down. In addition to the still endless falling heavenly fire, the sky has been covered with a thick cloud, on top of the head not to the height of 1,000 feet, and this thick as the clouds like the earth are all blazing fire cloud. Amazing heat makes Wei Suo and Wang Wei and other people are all like exposure to a huge, great treasure stove. But every ancient copper temple in this giant treasure valley is like a divine mystic 4/5 layer, and even the true immortal level other great treasure can resist heavenly tribulation, whether it is heavenly fire or the pressed fire cloud. All can withstand it. It seems that the beginning of the fire cloud heavenly tribulation, Wei Suo does not need to use any effort to survive. Sure enough, the time of the half stick of incense, no heavenly fire can pose any threat to Wei Suo, but the color of the fire cloud in the sky has changed. In addition to slowly becoming golden yellow, boom long the thundering surging sound is endless. Suddenly a surging sound bursts, a golden light breaks through the clouds. Immediately, countless golden light and white light broke through the clouds, like countless giants and dragons. Starting to fall mad. This Wei Suo's relaxed heart is not at all. According to the records he found, the power of the 9 days of mad thunder is the heavenly fire from the beginning, and it is time to maintain a stick of incense. Oh, Hong. Just after playing with the 9 days of mad thunder, Wei Suo saw a black divine light that had been swept in the air like a magic knife and was shattered by thunder light. After a while, the green divine light, which was flashing in the air like a banana leaf, was also shattered by thunder light. Ka. Wei Suo is not far from the secret place, the naked body of the naked body, the green color of the brilliance, forming a copper-colored ancient temple with a green light column seems to be unable to support, and a vaguely cracking surging sound. In the valley below, which was still calm, it was shaken by the terrifying thundering surge and thunder glow. Do you want to be so powerful? Wei Suo couldn't sit still here. In order to ease the tension in his heart, his great treasure called a surging sound, and a piece of wood-like thing and a piece of gold and silver color were sacrificed, toward the dark green. The light column is going to the top. If you don't need to do anything, just help me settle this great heaven's nature bottle and don't be killed. At the same time, Wei Suo, also called surging sound to Wang Wei and Sushengxiu and Tourmaline sect master. From the lust shape at the moment, it is impossible to break every restrictions in this round. Wei Suo does not have shapeshift great art in other places, and he is around the body for dozens of miles. It is necessary to set up shapeshift great art to protect one, otherwise it will be hit by the mad thunder in the past 9 days, then he will definitely not support it. As for the great heavens nature bottle, he must also be divided into minds, but he is afraid that he will be taken care of by himself, so that Wang Wei will do nothing to help him stare at this thing. I saw Wei Suo, a piece of mahogany and a piece of gold and silver color. It was placed on the dark green light column, and the thunder light of the bucket was shocked, but it was impossible to break the piece of peach wood. The gold and silver color flickering flashes, but the thunder light, which is surrounded by hundreds of feet, has been absorbed into it. Then it is a thunder light Taiji figure that competes with the mad thunder of the sky. With Wei Suo's 2 shapeshift great art machines, the ancient temple with the naked body and the green brilliance is suddenly light, and it won't collapse when you look at it. However, Wei Suo has not had enough time to enjoy it, that is, the effort of half a cup of tea is not enough. The piece of peach-like thing is shocked by the naked body. After 2 or 3 breaths, the gold and silver color patch also had a cracking surging sound. The shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure that Wei Suo sacrificed are already designed to withstand heavenly tribulation, but heavenly tribulation is called heavenly tribulation because of the horror and sadness of power. The 2 shapeshift great art great treasures can only support this for a while. I will top again. Wei Suo to this time can be said to be the real beginning of naked body will be heavenly tribulation terrible, but this time, in addition to the hard support has no one to do shapeshift great art, the only consolation is that 9 days crazy race so powerful, desolate race great treasure cannot come out now, certainly is already scared half to death, holed up in the ancient temple inside dead brace. Under a surging sound, a golden tile-shaped shapeshift great art object flew out of his hand and slammed into a thunder light that fell to the dark green beam. Is it worn in the sky? At least 16,000 miles from Wei Suo, Zhang Sun Ziru and Zhang Sun Jing have all solidified, just like a fossil, the dazzling thunder light maps their body to a white snow but white. It's golden for a while. In front of them, there is an endless thunder sea, countless pillars of general lightning and thunder glow bombarded from the sky desperately. Not to mention that they are resisting themselves, even if they look at such a scene in the distant secret place, they all feel a burst of trepidation. Mother Hummer, or cross-distress golden tile is useful. In the endless thunder sea, Wei Suo's depressed Circeus sound is called, and the shapeshift great art, which has just been spurred by a golden round mirror, has been smashed. This endless giant treasure thunder light is crushed down, and the psychological pressure is too great treasure. Wei Suo has some unclear time in it, and I don't know how long it has passed. Anyway, he has already made a continuous sacrifice. 10 shapeshift great art pieces have been destroyed. Don't do that, just praise you can't stand it. And almost at the moment when Wei Suo just surging sound called surging sound, the piece has been stuck for a long time, and I don't know how many thunder lights golden tile-shaped shapeshift great art devices have been blocked in thunder fire. The smashed into a stream of golden streams. Wang Wei, how long has it been since I landed this thunder light? However, Wei Suo has not been afraid of it until now, while continuing to sacrifice a great treasure umbrella-shaped shapeshift great art, while Ma asked Wu Wei and others. The time of the half-stick of incense has passed. Wang Wei and others are at the moment there is no concept of fear at all, and quickly answer Wei Suo. The 9 days of mad thunder have just been over half. No, it seems that I can only protect me around this mask. Wei Suo Ma began to figure out quickly in his heart. A total of 167 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that were collected specifically for the resistance of heavenly tribulation, 21 of which were originally prepared to withstand the first layer heavenly fire, and none of them use it. The Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, which are best suited to withstand 9 days of thunder, are 25 pieces and have now consumed 11 pieces. Although the 9-day Mad Thunder has been more than half, but there are several times of strong Great Treasure Thunder Glow bombardment, can be more, the success rate is even more Great Treasure. And now Weisuo has been fully stimulated Lightning Waning Moon and Dengxian Shapeshift Great Art Domain, such as various strong power tried, in this outside origin chi is extremely disordered, and various 9 days thunder fire tearing severe lust condition, origin chi powerful energy is very fragile, his lightning waning and Dengxian moon great art field a dozen out, can't hit the target th under light had been torn to pieces before. In this heavenly tribulation, the strong great treasure shapeshift great art doesn't seem to be as useful as a great treasure's shapeshift great art shield or a shapeshift great art great treasure. Dang! I saw Weisuo's gaze under the violent flashes, reaching out and hitting the sky with a golden lotus stand engraved on the base. Hong, hong, hong. Only 3 or 4 thunder lights fell, and the shapeshift great art, which was still used by Weisuo to block the dark green column, was also broken into a scattered gold liquid naked body, not only shattered, and it is melted directly. Okay, good, a little bit with secret place. Seeing this lust scene, Weisuo is not surprised, but also a golden platform of a giant great treasure is also sacrificed, to resist. The shapeshift great art block is the 4 God King shapeshift great art block that has been broken. It is the former heavenly Emperor Dao. He tried to use these things as shields for shapeshift great art, only to try it out, although it only lasted for a short time, but finally used secret places. Now he is really aware of the heavenly tribulation terrifying, against the heavenly tribulation, is obviously an unusually hard war of attrition, so he is now willing to spell the other shapeshift on hand great art great treasure and shapeshift great art device consumes light, but also to compare the secret place at hand great treasure, specifically to resist heavenly tribulation of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great the art device to stay behind for later use. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1156. Chapter 1156 The Mystery Between Heavenly Tribulation. It's like 2 people using each other to see who is using energy. Moreover, if you can't get it, you can save your life. But you can't stop it. You know that the general shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art are even extraordinary. You can only support it for a while, and you don't have to worry about it. Now Weisuo this huge great treasure gold platform, is usually Myriad Phoenix's young master in the appearance, originally those used to pull this platform monster beast, before Heavenly Emperor Dao Gate in the First World War, Myriad Phoenix's young master did not put out, in the slave bag was beaten into fly ash, only this piece shapeshift great art great treasure is treasure are receiving pocket damage has been left behind. This shapeshift great art great treasure also has the powerful energy of half immortal level itself, but Weisuo comes out, naked body and great treasure, and there are more than 10 thunder light bombardments in a moment. This shapeshift great art great treasure also the horse couldn't stand it, was beaten and split, and the debris fell to the secret place. Fire, Qinglong, give it to me. Wang Wei, what kind of tires are you naked body, all intercourse to me. Weisuo was depressed and called a surging sound, a long dome made of a red shiny flat ruler and a cyan essence metal wire. Originally Weisuo's great treasure most shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art device all in Jiyaet's body, fortunately this time lay heavenly after Emperor Dao, all shapeshift of the heavenly Emperor Dao great art great treasure and shapeshift great art were scraped by him, and from yellow W court sect etc sect inside he also took a lot of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, so now can the tire naked body good shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art device as firewood burning. However, the current lust situation, of course, can be as good as the top of the firewood. The two things are Weisuo from Heavenly Emperor Dao Gate, mystic rank middle grade, shapeshift great art great treasure. After a shock, the firefoot of the fire Yuan just turned into a fire Jiao appearance, looked to have not had time to drill out from the ruler. On the horse was filled with the thunder fire tore a smash. Green dragon streamers are the same, the blue light is not formed at all. Pei Papa, it seems that the rain hits the plantain, but it only supports the time of 5 or 6 breaths. The firefighting ruler and the green dragonfly are also beaten into fly ash. The firefighting ruler and the green dragon smashed, and Weisuo, who had already prepared for it, played another 5-ray circle and King Kong Maitreya. The two shapeshift great art great treasures were also obtained from the Heavenly Emperor Dao Gate. Just after Wu Wei and Sushenxiu and Tourmaline sect master were called by him, they also contributed 5 shapeshift great art great treasures. It seems that after Huang Daijun and others refining them all, they still have some shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure in their bodies. And at the same time, the 5 round circle and the diamond-shaped maid's 2 naked bodies, the good shapeshift great art great treasure, were hit, and Weisuo's brow was also a fierce jump. He felt that at the moment, with the fall of the mad thunder, many astral origin chi have already passed through. Wang Wei, Tourmaline sect master, you can help me settle the great heavens nature bottle. Sushenxiu, you are responsible for stimulating these shapeshift great art great treasures to resist. Pay attention to me, one cannot be wasted. At this moment, Weisuo made a tough decision, reached out and took out at least hundreds of shapeshift great art great treasure intercourse to Sushenxiu, while the horse stretched out and displayed the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. Next, if you remove the terrifying outside of the sea, if you look at the Weisuo's scene, I am afraid that the surging sound will be completely laughed out. Because Weisuo is busy dead, he is now secret place in divine mystic breakthrough, divine mystic incarnation desperately suction origin chi strong great treasure, and he wanted to make the body strong great treasure point is a point, but also to cast heavenly dragon star body tempering technique draw world origin chi, but also not trust Sushenxiu, for fear Sushenxiu waste or no take good care of the surrounding ancient palaces, so Weisuo is a moment to shake hands throw thousands of water. Attribute monster core and spiritual herb, and then put a dragon-shaped cultivation, will stop to see Sushenxiu, pointing, as busy as the ventilation. The time for this 9 days of mad thunder is coming. Suddenly, Wu Wei gave a surging sound to Weisuo, and Weisuo suddenly felt a glimpse of the celebration of dragon star body tempering technique. Previously, because there was no accurate time for shapeshift great art, Weisuo was intercourse to Wang Wei to help him calculate the time. Sure enough, Wang Wei's surging sound hasn't disappeared for a long time. The lightning of the buckets that have slid down in the sky has been sparse, but the thundering sound of the party is more dense and louder. Just like I don't know how many god kings hit the drums inside, and the ground keeps shaking. Weisuo knows that the next is definitely the more violent earth fire. It's a little surprise, and the shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art in Sushenxiu are left. 40 pieces. Although the shapeshift great art great treasure and the shapeshift great art were burned like firewood, the restrictions around him were all saved, and the 25 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art were originally intended to withstand the second round. Among them, except for the 11 pieces that were used at the beginning, the remaining 14 pieces were not used, and all were saved. Boom! After a dozen breaths, a group of dazzling and unimaginable light groups dragged down the long fireworks from the sky, which made people feel that the eyes were stinging. There are grindstone great treasures, which are polymers of 9 days of thunder glow and heavenly fire. Very good, desolate race great treasure, thank you very much. At this time, Weisuo is another surging sound, because the ground outside the valley is completely cracked under the huge earthquake on the ground, all of which are rushing out of countless black fires, condense a strange thing to the secret place. The bombs were flying, but the ground of this valley, except for the constant vibration, was at least not cracked. From the records, Wei Suo already know that this round is the Earth Thunder Earth Fire, not only the sky fell terrifying thunder ball, and the primer veins will be called, gush out countless black fiend fire chi, under the crossfire, making Cultivator seems to be sitting in the spout of the crater to withstand heaven's might, more difficult, before Wei Suo in order to prevent this round heaven's might, has been a town restrictions, but from the current lust-shaped view, de-isolate race of this secret place, itself is decorated with more than he laid down the earth chi, so that the Terra monolithic under the strong great treasure ban. Sushenxiu, stop. But before I had time to be happy, Wei Suo's eyes couldn't help but swell. Sushenxiu's two shapeshift great art great treasures, which were smashed by a thunder ball, melted directly like ice white butt. The black fiend fire chi is filled with the heat, and the heat of the shapeshift great art great treasure cannot be resisted. In addition, this thunder ball is a passionate heathly fire, just able to withstand a few shapeshift great art great treasure is not working at the moment. This is abnormal, but it still makes people live on. Wei Suo didn't really run shapeshift great art. He could only use 14 things that were just saved and 21 things that were saved at the beginning. At this time, Wei Suo can only perceive the most around 100 miles, but the harsh divine iron bursting and collapsing surging sound is endless. He knows that there are already many copper temples in the valley that have collapsed. This round seems to have nothing else to do shapeshift great art, only by consuming these shapeshift great art and heaven shift great art great treasure. Then, according to the record, the meteorite falls, many 9 of days of the void turbulence in the meteorite was origin chi and landed, broken open great treasure gas impact down, this meteorite drop, mainly or strong great treasure extremely penetrate the force, each together as the god of the devil cast a spear, ordinary shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art device, but some with secret place, simply stay below to resist the fall of the meteorite. Wei Suo in the heart of the lightning, decided to simply give up the round to try to save as much as possible to resist heavenly tribulation shapeshift great art device and shapeshift great art great treasure plan to save the previously saved 35 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure shapeshift great art and original plans specifically designed to withstand this round of 31 shapeshift great art great treasure shapeshift great the art device all intercourse to Sushenxiu, and let Sushenxiu pay attention to the point and use it just as before. He himself is fully supplementing the origin chi required for the divine mystic shapeshift great art phase change and the astral origin chi cultivation using the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. The concentration of this astral origin chi has been so amazing, divine mystic has changed so profoundly. Wei Suo feels that the astral origin chi, which is now filled with thousands of miles, has already produced Feng Wukang's full force of shapeshift great art, stimulating the concentration of astral origin chi, and the concentration of astral origin chi is still amazing growth. This is a complete 9-day and ground through feeling. If you don't need the entire heavenly tribulation process, you only need 2 or 3 rounds of Wei Suo to be able to do the same as the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, his mortal body cultivation base. There must be amazing growth. And the most mysterious, only Wei Suo oneself can naked body will, previously about heavenly tribulation records at all did not mention is that he naked body divine mystic shapeshift great art body at this moment great treasure volume swallow origin chi, but also in the natural astral origin chi, and these astral origin chi in the strong great treasure divine mystic shapeshift great art body at the same time, seems to be divine mystic shapeshift great art body of this volume suction origin chi. Strong great treasure process great treasure G the delay of the read treasure. Wei Suo before either the golden core breakthrough or divine mystic breakthrough, this breakthrough when the origin chi entrainment although amazing, the formation of the world variation scenery, but also only a short time, but now Wei Suo but is faint feel, own divine mystic breakthrough, I am afraid to end the whole heavenly tribulation as sustained, continue to heavenly tribulation end, he divine mystic breakthrough will eventually be completed. Resist heavenly tribulation, this is with heaven and earth will as the enemy, and the world then consumption, but invisible, this breakthrough and heavenly tribulation is also in sync, it is very peculiar, let Weisuo doubt whether this world is also a person's sex, is deliberately suppress him, in case he break through after divine ability great treasure up a section, resist heavenly tribulation success rate is higher. The time of the earth fire is almost the same. Weisuo didn't know how long it took. Suddenly, Wang Wei heard a surging sound. There is only so much left, Weisuo just looked at Sushenxu and he swallowed a bit of difficulty. He gave Sushenxu 35 plus 31, a total of 66 shapeshift great art, and now there are only 9. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1157. Chapter 1157 Desolate Race Great Treasure Can Scream. Weisuo thinks that this kind of consumption is too terrifying, but if it is seen by the great treasure that was previously robbed or the great treasure that has already been robbed, it will definitely be like shapeshift great for Weisuo. Art is very speechless. And. Because of the fact that most of the great treasure to the sky thunder earth fire the stage has been extremely difficult, many even have to rely on the physical and spiritual herb hard resistance, has been inevitable damage, but Weisuo now, far from preparing for the stage, shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, and at least the restrictions of the surrounding temples, are not broken, but are consumption, but not to the point of desperately. But it's no wonder that in this place where desolate race is set up, restrictions are probably more powerful than any of the great treasures that can be prepared. Moreover, the entire cultivation world has not appeared to evoke heavenly tribulation for thousands of years, and this is something that can be used for the robbery for thousands of years, and it has accumulated into the hands of Weisuo alone. In the past, the great treasure of the robbery, no shapeshift great art collected Weisuo so many shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that are suitable for the resistance of heavenly tribulation. Now Weisuo's only slight weakness is that he is inexperienced. He doesn't have shapeshift great art. The era of ancient scripture often has great treasure. He knows heavenly tribulation very deeply. He can't see so much about heavenly tribulation. Otherwise, he definitely has to prepare more of the shapeshift great art great treasure tire body that can at least resist the tires. Hong. Between 1 or 2 breaths, another boat-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure bursts, and the shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art in Sushenxu's hands are missing one more. At this time, the whole cloud, like a great treasure 6, was pressed against the top of the head, and the clouds were changed. The giant great treasure thunder fire group and the black fiend earth fire of the 4 secret places were slightly sparse. 1 point, and the color of the robbery cloud has also become colorful from the original redness, and it can't be seen as a demon. Weisuo knows that the next more terrifying comet is falling, and when the thunder fire is sparse, he sees that within the reach of the surrounding line of sight, the brilliance of the ground is obviously at least half less. That is to say, the ancient bronze temple in the entire valley has been destroyed at least half. I am afraid that the body is standing there and let the characters like Black Bodhi Tianmu use all the shapeshift great art to play, and they can't move at all. At the same time, Weisuo also tried to play only my heart sword and squatted on his own hands. Previously from Zhangsun aristocratic family old ancestor layout of the quartet clouds after the fall to the heavenly tribulation began, he is a total of the use of eternal Saint King scripture carved into 8 divine mark, and this round of thunder earth fire, he fully display heavenly dragon star body tempering technique absorption astral origin chi cultivation, but also get a very great treasure good secret place, obviously feel his body and as if it was forged, and a grade, he obviously feel, unless he is himself with physical strength to beat himself, otherwise light by his own shapeshift great art powerful energy, and it's impossible to inflict any damage on yourself. Coming Sushenxu, you stop first. Suddenly, the side of the robbery cloud, out of the unusually sharp, abnormal pang great treasure surging sound, this surging sound, as if very far in the void there are pang great treasure things in the drag, but is not to say sharp, even we Isuo's ears are feeling a bursts of tingling, Wang Wei and others are even unconsciously a surging sound scream, hoarse with true you and their ears sealed. Oh! A hole suddenly appeared in the robbery cloud, and a transparent beam of light appeared first. This transparent beam of light is completely formed by squeezing the air, not just bright. At this moment, a flame was shot down from the air in an unimaginable degree. This flame is a meteorite that burns through the naked body and has a general shape of the all. You guys help me to settle the great heavens nature bottle. At a glance at this flame, Wei Suo has a black feeling in front of him, and the great treasure that gnashed his teeth called a surging sound. Just after he tried his own body, there was still a little smugness. The heart wanted to make it easy for him to make around. If the body is tempered, his body must be equito to a divine weapon. Desolate race great treasure is the kind of semi-true immortal's powerful energy. But now this wishful abacus is not doing shape-shift great art at all. The meteorites are so fast that they are hard to imagine. Just because of his current divine consciousness, they are almost just able to react. The divine consciousness of Wang Wei and Sushenxu and others are not locked by shape-shift great art at all. I want Wang Wei and Sushenxu to help him with shape-shift great art great treasure and shape-shift great art. There is no shape-shift great art block. As before, the first flame of light fell, and the robbery of the cloud became a horse's nest. The countless great treasures were small, but the same as the meteorological limit of the ordinary divine mystic great treasure. The terrifying thunder fire hits it down. This is not good. Wei Suo divine consciousness sweeps out, just ready to stimulate shape-shift great art great treasure to resist the sacred rock that slams down around him, but his face has changed. Many of the stars, if they are missing, are faster than these meteorites, puncture them like a fine needle. Wei Suo is okay, and he feels that the flow of true yuan and qi and blood is slightly affected, but beside the side of Wu Wei and Sushenxu, and Tourmaline sect master, all of them were simultaneously screaming, and they even had a hint of blue smoke. With this comet falling, not only these extremely amazing meteorites, but also the great treasure astral origin qi, the star ray, has reached the point where it can kill divine mystic great treasure. Wu Shenu said this might be useful. Upon seeing such a lust scene, Wei Suo reached out and saw a piece of roof great treasure. The small gold-colored fragment was sacrificed by him and blocked him and Wang Wei. This roof of the great treasure small mixed gold fragment, Wei Suo from Lin Fenghua's hand, Wu Shenu also has such a piece. According to Wu Shenu, this thing may be in the ancient cultivation world, used for swimming to virtual the scrap of the shape-shift great art great treasure that shuttles the stars should be able to withstand the great astral origin qi of the great treasure. This is okay. As soon as this piece of mixed golden fragment was sacrificed, Wei Suo felt that all the stars and rays were all resisted, and no one could see through Wang Wei and others. I am doing it. But the great treasure that made him vomiting blood smashed a surging sound. The moment of this moment, the ancient bronze temple next to the green light column of the ink has been unable to support, along with the dark green light column completely broken. The ancient bronze hall below is also Xuanhuan disappeared, and then there appeared a strip of cracks that collapsed. Scold to scold, but Wei Suo also dare not have any stay. If around these powerful energy counter-attack type of great treasure band damage a lot, he next to the divine light screen of the ancient temple certainly also cannot support, then he really can only purely by their hard resistance, so great treasure scold surging sound just export at the same time. He has sacrificed a rouge red incense burner like shape-shift great art great treasure go, block on the left one is also in jeopardy red copper. Color ancient temple square. This terrifying hole wears Each of these comets is really equivalent to divine light that can be played by divine mystic great treasure. The incense burner shaped shapeshift great art great treasure from Weisuo was collected from Yellow Court sect, and also has the powerful energy of mystic rank middle grade, and the tire naked body is acquainted with the rare top grade essence metal blush gold, but only 4 meteorites were blocked, and the shapeshift great art great treasure was completely destroyed. At this time, Zhang Sunjing, Zhang Sunzairu, and Huang Daijun, who were watching hundreds of miles away from the heavenly tribulation, were even more shocked. The whole sky seems to have been completely fragmented, and only a myriad of streamers are constantly slashing down. The degree of intensiveness is simply the formation of a piece of light curtain. The ground layer is flattened and layered into floating soil. I was beaten and left nothing. What is this lust condition? Since the launch of heavenly tribulation from Weisuo has been approaching the time of 3 stick of incense, and the scope of this heavenly tribulation is too wide, some cultivators that are already near heavenly tribulation can also be looming at this time. Seeing the place of heavenly tribulation, and faintly seeing this scene, these cultivators are all scared. Can you not be so abnormal, among the heavenly tribulation, Weisuo burning with desire? The meteorite that was stabbed like a sword in Fangluyun has begun to sparse. Even if Wang Wei is not required to calculate the time, he knows that this round of comet is about to end. But he from Heavenly Emperor Dao, Yellow Court sect, such as sect collected, shapeshift great art great treasure fetal naked body can be, barely able to top a few shapeshift great art great treasure, has been completely depleted, with a legacy of shapeshift great art great treasure and heavenly tribulation. The shapeshift great art, as well as the 26 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that are ready for this round, are completely depleted because the next step is to withstand the 9-day blast and overcast rays shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art great treasure origin chi, so Weisuo even used 2 pieces of the shapeshift GR in advance to withstand the gold wind. Eat art great treasure and shapeshift great art device, to finally support, to ensure that a few of their surrounding desolate race great treasure band. The robbery cloud is changing again. The original colorful cloud turned into a gray, completely like a gray frozen earth treasure 6, pressed in the valley where Weisuo is located. The entire sky suddenly dimmed and turned into a secluded blue. Woo 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 woo. The wind surging sound of giant great treasure seems to have passed down from the stars. Shua. 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 A strip of gray and white lightning shone from the sky like a vine, but it did not fall, but it was entangled in a very high altitude, forming a variety of shapes, many like divine beast, but most of the great treasure is like a light person, a strip of human form. Divine beast-shaped lightning, human lightning, such a smog, fairy. This is someone who is crossing heavenly tribulation. Dear God, for 1,000 years, finally there is a cultivator that ignites heavenly tribulation. In the periphery, among the cultivators that came, finally, the insightful old-aged characters reacted to what was going on, desperately, unable to control their own screams, as if they were completely crazy. How can this be blocked? Weisuo's face is completely white. Wang Wei and Sushengxiu, Tourmaline sect master are also shaking around him, not scared, but cold. Throughout the valley, a strip of blue light with a length of 1 person was killed like a rainstorm. The temperature in the valley almost instantly fell to the same temperature as his icy shapeshift great art, and the true yuan and qi and blood of Wang Wei and Sushengxiu and others were so cold that they could not be opened. Weisuo has just spurred a shapeshift great art machine specifically designed to withstand the 9-day yin, but only supported dozens of breathing hours and was completely destroyed. And now, in addition to this swaying 9-day yin wind, there has been a strip of humanoid and animal-shaped lightning, which has also emerged from the robbery cloud. In this round, there are only 20 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that Weisuo originally prepared. According to this lust shape, I am afraid that the restrictions around this round are difficult to preserve. At this time, there was a lot of dazzling great treasure in the valley suddenly called the surging sound. The restrictions of theirs can't support it anymore, this way Suo suddenly reacted, it is the ancient bronze temple where the desolate race great treasure can't. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1158. Chapter 1158 Heavenly Tribulation Slaughterhouse. Wei Suo's guess is not wrong at all. The ancient copper temple where desolate race great treasure can be located is the most tyrannical defense of powerful energy among all these ancient copper temples. But after 4 rounds of support, the layer of indigo blue divine mark wrapped in the ancient copper hall began to collapse, and all the desolate race great treasures were already in a panic. Ah! A desolate race great treasure with only 2 arms, but with a pair of black fleshy wings, collapsed and burst into a purple-black divine light, forming a purple-black ball of light from the ancient copper temple that had begun to collapse. I rushed out and wanted to forcefully escape the scope of heavenly tribulation. But only escaped less than 500 feet, the purple-black light ball was completely broken by a dark blue 9-day yin wind, and the inside of the desolate race great treasure could be iced into an ice sculpture in an instant. Then, it was rushed into fly ash by the powerful energy of the 9-day yin wind. Idiot! The old 8 arms desolate race great treasure can 8 arms angrily flapping the air, divine light Jean, it seems that desolate race great treasure can if not be 9 days blast split death, he would come up and put that guy to death, in this heavenly tribulation inside, divine consciousness all twisted, even if the feeling straight toward a direction of swept out, are inevitable detours, now a Wanli region equivalent to the usual tens of thousands of, if you can escape, this can be counted heavenly tribulation modi? What should we do now? Several desolate race great treasures couldn't help but scream. What can I do? Take turns to stop. This old 8-armed desolate race great treasure can look at these great treasures called desolate race great treasure with a murderous look, and at this time, a surging sound, the ancient temple of their copper has been completely collapsed. You, and you. The 3 of you will try your best to stop. The rest of the people are waiting to hear me. As soon as the ancient temple of the copper collapsed, the old 8-armed desolate race great treasure could suddenly slam a surging sound, stretch out an arm and point a little toward 3 of the desolate race great treasures. Ah! The 3 desolate race great treasure lust condition is also not how good, a chest also cracked a great treasure mouth, 2 look to skin and bones, not even a little flesh and blood, to these 3 desolate race great treasure can lust shape, now shot, even if the heavenly tribulation did not know its own injury and origin chi cannot hold, but now this lust shaped, these 3 desolate race great treasure can also dare not have any stay, is a surging sound great treasure called, of which 2 have stretched 2 light screen, while another desolate race great treasure had magnificent light flashes, but is flying out a piece of Xian iron color great treasure disc like life shape shift great art great treasure, the head went. This kind of stun can still track the cultivator breath. How can this be blocked? And in the meantime, Wei Suo's face more white, now a strip of 9 days blast feeling than a few rounds of thunder fire to sparse a lot, and the more violent star rays are all by the head side of the house great treasure small mixed gold fragment to resist live, to see the house great treasure small gold fragment even more powerful astral origin chi and rays can withstand. But the key point is that the human-shaped lightning and the animal-shaped lightning that fell in the 9-day yin wind turned out to be like the life of a handwriting. It was actually divided into 2 strands, one coming toward oneself and the other being farther away. The party of the secret place is coming. Wei Suo knows that the origin chi fluctuations of the cultivator and shape-shift great art are attractive to this kind of human lightning and animal lightning, which attracts these lightnings like magnetism. The other direction is definitely the place where the desolate race great treasure can resist. This is not the kind of lightning that really lives, knowing that you are tracking the enemy. But at this time, the power of each humanoid lightning and beast lightning is even more terrifying than a round of thunderball. There are dozens of groups between the breath, and even the lightning of the 100 groups is coming, how can it resist? Live. In this way, let alone the 20 pieces of Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure prepared in this round, even if there are 60 Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, they may not be able to resist. I don't know if Great Treasure becomes a heaven-deceiving scripture can attract a little of this abnormal lightning. At this time, Wei Suo didn't really have Shapeshift Great Art. The two surging sounds cracked. Two silver divine lights flew out from behind him and turned into two avatars like him. They flew out. The two avatars flew out, and the current one of a great treasure batch of humanoid lightning and animal-shaped lightning turned out to be really attracted to the past great treasure half. It really works. Wei Suo's eyes all burst into golden light. Genjiven after the sound, his shapeshift great art degree completely passed the usual limit, completely horizontal, a line of avatar kept flying. Although the use of great treasure into heaven-deceiving scripture requires constant consumption of true yuan and some qi and blood, each time an avatar is equivalent to cutting the loss of a small piece of meat, it is not at all for the current lust condition. What? Haha. After all, this kind of lightning is not a living thing, it will be attracted by the intense origin qi wave or even the air. And let Wei Suo couldn't help but open his mouth again. His avatar kept flying, and almost all the human-shaped lightning and animal-shaped lightning that came to his mask were taken away. And these lightning bolts collide with each other or with the 9-day yin wind, it will also break into a group of thunder glow breath. It's a sparse 9-day yin, that is, the power of the great treasure is reduced. For Wei Suo, this round of accidents is sure to last. You have a lot of lightning there. It seems that you are still very supportive. If you do this, then help the younger share more. As soon as I felt that I could survive, Wei Suo suddenly became fascinated. When my eyes turned, I tried to display the great treasure into heaven-deceiving scripture, desperately out of avatar, and shot in the direction of desolate race great treasure. In this heavenly tribulation, divine consciousness and powerful energy will be distorted. Wei Suo now want to play what powerful energy in the direction of the bombing is not, but the key to this kind of humanoid lightning and the beast-shaped lightning is their own origin qi fluctuations and vibration traction. Wei Suo these avatar play, although in the way is often beaten to smash, but these lightning is attracted to these desolate race great treasure they are also swarm toward. Desolate race great treasure can be over there. _crew first name Commonwealth 26 crew first name Commonwealth 26. Wei Suo is completely relaxed, and it has caused a lot of trouble. There are many mice coming from the house. It is not kind to dig a hole in the wall next door, and then use the meat buns to lead the mice to the next door. And desolate race great treasure can be completely crazy on this side. Originally, these humanoid lightning and animal-shaped lightning are both stunned with the star's true fire, extremely cold and extremely hot. The too powerful energy in the thunder bombing, the destructive power is extremely terrifying, has resisted very difficult. Now suddenly see how lightning it seems that suddenly it has doubled, and all of these desolate race great treasures blue faces are turning white. A four-armed desolate race great treasure was smashed in a golden arch-like shapeshift great art great treasure, while at the same time the four-armed desolate race great treasure was able to be naked. It is also like a dead wood, cracked open, no vitality, but the loss is too intense and directly fallen. How can this be? The leading 8-armed deserty race great treasure can be called the incredible great treasure, Ka-cha a surging sound, smashing the ground beneath him. This short period of time has already changed the third batch of people to go, but the 9 days of yin will actually increase suddenly, which makes him who has already experienced heavenly tribulation have no idea. The cultivation base of this batch of desolate race great treasure can be cultivation heaven for the present defying world, except battle ngth restores up to 10 3 or 4, and is not durable. There is a more great treasure disadvantage than Wei Suo. which is that desolate race great treasure, the hands of almost nothing shapeshift great art great treasure, their shapeshift great art great treasure estimated to have been race by other desolate before being sealed great treasure can take. Go out, continue and spirit race great treasure war, so they want to resist this heavenly tribulation, only on their own cultivation base and life shapeshift great art great treasure to resist. You. And you. Topetarm desolate race great treasure can also do no shapeshift great art at all, and replace 3 desolate race great treasures. Now this lust shape is not pure Weisuo and heavenly tribulation consumption, but it is consumed by 3 parties. Who has consumed it? A full-fledged shapeshift great art's desolate race great treasure can open the eyebrows. The original injury, the white divine light instantly filled the whole body from the eyebrow wound, making this desolate race great treasure instantly become indigo fragments of a place. A desolate race great treasure, which was still in the midst of a rate hike, was too weak to withstand the shock of powerful energy and the invasion of astral origin chi. It fell to the ground and was completely devoid of anger. Heavenly tribulation has become a centralized slaughterhouse for these desolate race great treasures. Every time a moment, there is a desolate race great treasure that can scare off a cultivator, and it will fall. After 6 or 7,000 years, I was still dead here. Kid, I want to break you down. The 4-armed desolate race great treasure, which is still holding the pigeon's egg, is a bloody drop. He didn't think that a small person in his eyes actually let them fall into the trap. Such a situation. Lalala divide, I divide, an avatar, fly into the flowers. 9 days of yin wind, less to come, humanoid lightning, animal-shaped lightning, more. At this time, if these desolate race great treasures can see the other side of Weisuo's, I am afraid that they will be mad at half of them at once, because Weisuo will continue to display great treasure into heaven deceiving scripture. Still screaming like this. In heavenly tribulation, this is still the case. Weisuo is probably the first person in these tens of thousands of years. It is estimated that if Ling Longtian sees him like this, he can't help but want to be in his foot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1159. Chapter 1159. The 9 days of the glory are finally coming to an end. If the time of this round is longer, the next round of time will be shorter. After a while, the great treasure was turned into a heaven-deceiving scripture. After a while, Weisuo saw that the color of the robbery cloud began to brighten again. At the same time, a 9-day yin and human-shaped lightning and animal-shaped lightning were also obvious. It started to sparse, and he knew that this round of unique heaven's might is coming to an end soon. Because the great treasure became the magical effect of the heaven-deceiving scripture, the dangerously dangerous one was easier than the other round. The 20 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that were originally intended to withstand this round are still left. 5 pieces, and the ancient copper temple in the divine light screen of Weisuo is also completely preserved. To this extent, it can be described as miraculous. However, seeing the 9 days of yin and yin will change, Weisuo's heart lust is unconscious and nervous, because he knows that the following is the most severe test. He has all the records about heavenly tribulation in his hand, only to the next golden hotline, and there is not much to know about this golden wind line. I only know that some stars radiate the star's true fire and the sputum jet, powerful energy more terrifying. As for the powerful energy of the naked body, there is no obvious record, so although this round has prepared 44 shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, but how many pieces are suitable, but there is not much confidence. And he doesn't know if there is any other powerful energy after this golden hotline. Prepare their bodies, the next golden wind line, the hole penetration is even more amazing, even the ordinary divine iron is melted. Their bodies are more useful than the average shapeshift great art great treasure. In Weisuo meditation waiting for gold wind came, waiting to see the gold wind line of naked body powerful energy, the original 100 desolate race great treasure can place is a miserable, old 8-armed all 8 race great treasure can 8 arms trembling, so that all the surviving desolate race great treasure can collect the surrounding desolate race great treasure. Ready to withstand. Before the heavenly tribulation, the desolate race great treasure had more than 70 revived activities and the ability to temporarily apply shapeshift great art, but now this time, the still-lived desolate race great treasure can only have more than 50. Those who were rescued later, and had not had time to recover Origin Chi's 30 weakest desolate race great treasures have all died. Now the face of these 50 desolate race great treasures is desperate, not only the body of the desolate race great treasure that has just fallen into this round, but even the already dead desolate race in this ancient temple. The great treasure can all be gathered up. After all, the physical body of these desolate race great treasures is also an equivalent to a sturdy shapeshift great art great treasure tire naked body, which can also be used for blocking. Heavenly tribulation, it's really a live heavenly tribulation. Heavenly tribulation is like this, terrifying to this extent. In our current cultivation world, there are still people who can lead heavenly tribulation. At this time, the cultivator that has already arrived at the place where heavenly tribulation can be seen has become more and more. This is no longer a general shock. Many people see the terrifying powerful energy of the mercury diarrhea and like a great treasure 6 the robbery clouds there have been incoherent. And with the arrival of many sect cultivators, the news of people robbing in the wilderness of the wilderness is also spread in madness. There are more cultivators who are ignorant of the dangers. I don't know if this heavenly tribulation is trapped inside an amazing number of old demons. Many people are very excited and say that they are lucky. No one has seen heavenly tribulation for 10,000 years, but they actually saw it. Others don't know that Weisuo is here to face heavenly tribulation. I can't help but say that it seems that the real high man is not famous. This kind of robbery is called domineering, and it is a match, domineering reverend. Weisuo is almost weak. With the landing of heaven's might, the circumference of Weisuo's tens of thousands of miles has been destroyed by heaven's might. The floating soil is gone, and the entire landscape has formed a giant great treasures deep valley, and where Weisuo and these deserty race great treasures can be located is a valley, but because the valley has many restrictions to resist, it has not been cut, but it has appeared like a lonely peak. At the location of Zhangsunjing and Zhangsunzairu, and using some of the shapeshift great art devices that enhance your eyesight, you can already see that piece is highlighted, like a mountain with many broken buildings and many terrifying brilliance. Playing Big Brother Way is Big Brother Way, and even such powerful energy is supported. When the 9 days of yin and yin swelled, Zhangsunzairu collapsed, but it was obvious that Weisuo had not fallen yet. Zhangsunzairu had a blind faith in Weisuo. The robbery cloud of the sky turned into a strange golden yellow. Suddenly, a surging sound of cracked, and a thin golden light fell. Coming. The eyes of Weisuo, who are already waiting, can't help but look at it. This thin golden light is too thin, and it is as small as the roots. In such a dazzling golden sky, if you don't look carefully, I can't see it at all. Jenga surging sound whistle, a piece of silver light coming out from behind Weisuo, directly into several avatar, flying out. No secret place, he did it to see great treasure into heaven deceiving scripture to this gold wind line of work has no attraction, but he this avatar fly out, countless dense strands of the same gold wind line has fallen down, but there is no change in the trajectory of any of the operations, obviously these gold wind line of fire and the same as the previous meteorite, there is its own established trajectory, that is, the straight shot down. Looking at the golden wind line that hit the area around him, Weisuo reached out and sacrificed a bronze teapot-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure. This bronze teapot-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure is itself made of enamel iron, and it is equipped with many shapeshift great art arrays that are not interfered by astral origin chi. It was also selected by green-robed old man and Ling Longtian. A dedicated shapeshift great art great treasure for resistance to heavenly tribulation. Pa. 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 A few lines of the same golden wind line, this shapeshift great art great treasure, suddenly a few blue smoke, and a layer of gold instantly filled the entire naked body of this bronze teapot. This gold wind line is so erosive to origin chi powerful energy, this bronze teapot was not penetrated for a while, but at this moment, Wei Suo also changed his face. In his own divine light screen, there are 3 bronze ancient temples that have a round of blue gods, a green divine light in the shape of a banana leaf, and a reddish divine light like a giant treasure. Hey, these 3 divine mites are very powerful. In the first few rounds, Wei Suo blocked many heaven's mites, at least in the divine mystic 5th layer. But for a moment, except for the green divine light in the shape of the banana leaf, the other 2 powerful energy horses have to be worn and shattered. The facts fully prove Wei Suo's intuition at this time. A surging sound of boom, just a breath between the 2 ancient copper temples cannot stand the powerful backlash of powerful energy, completely collapsed, the round of blue god the red and red divine light, which is the same as the Pang great treasure, disappears. At the moment of the collapse, Wei Suo was finally completely removed. This golden hotline is exactly like the jet of the divine iron material, which melts into a jet. The characteristics are similar, but the penetration and destructive power is at least double that of the previous comet. Chi. Just a few more gold-fired lines, the bronze teapot-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure was softened by the naked body, and it burned directly and was completely burned. No, follow this way, use these shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, I am afraid I can only support half of the time, and restrictions is probably going to be completely destroyed. Wei Suo knows that now is the time when he is really desperate. When he bites his teeth, a sword shines out of his body like a waterfall, but he uses his secret treasure with secret place to display evil beheading 1,000 swords. The 1,000-handed flying sword required for formation was sacrificed. I don't dare to release it at one time. The Wei Suo sword is evenly drawn, and a flying sword is shot in succession. Each flying sword greets a gold fire line. Dang! 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 The flicking of the flying sword itself has been tempered, and each flying sword can resist 2 or 3 golden wind lines. I don't know how long it has been resisted. The 1,000 flying swords have turned into rain all over the place. Most of the great treasures are broken into pieces, and many of them are completely burned. There is no other way to do shapeshift great art now, only the bite is hard. Seeing that his own flying sword was completely destroyed, Wei Suo gritted his teeth and reached out. He also sacrificed the indestructible clean bottle and topped it. Dang! 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 A burst of explosions, but also just adhere to a not long time. Indestructible clean bottle is also a wine, pass naked body ice purple spirit light all disappeared, surfaced ancient desolate the giant claws of the carapace first collapse, beecher the bottom burned into fly ash, then the whole indestructible clean bottle also was burned a group of essence metal not, but it is great heavens nature bottle mainstay general, how many gold wind impact go to all do not see movement, Wanji Wei and Soviet theology, Tourmaline sect master 3 control great heavens nature bottle disorderly turn, blocked not know how many gold wind line, back to this time the most useful to resist heaven's might the shapeshift great art great treasure. The indestructible clean bottle is burned, and Wei Suo only has to sacrifice all of the shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art that are still in hand against heavenly tribulation. Mother Hummer. Not finished yet. Like Wei Suo's initial judgment, even though Wei Suo even consumed 1,000 flying swords and indestructible clean bottles, and did not wait for the empty cloud to change colors, he had all the shapeshift great art and shapeshift for the heavenly tribulation. The great art great treasure has all been used up, and the golden wind is still falling. Fight, Wei Suo bit his teeth, head flash of intuition, and released Immortal Emperor Wood, one of his own shapeshift great art great treasures, and let it go. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 1160. Chapter 1160 Super Great Treasure. Immortal Emperor Wood went to the top, but the golden wind line was not destroyed at all. The golden wind line exploded on the surface of Immortal Emperor Wood, making Immortal Emperor Wood like a layer of burning gold, but Immortal Emperor Wood was motionless and did not see any damage. The true great treasure divine ability is indeed unimaginable. But this Immortal Emperor Wood is only a small piece, even if it is not destroyed at all, it is like a flying sword like Wei Suo controls. It can't stand the gold wind line is too dense, the number is too much, not at all may block all the falling golden wind lines. Hong. It was only a moment, and the ancient temple of the blue-green divine light with a banana leaf shape could not withstand it and collapsed fiercely. The ancient temple itself is the most powerful ancient temple in the divine light screen of the secret place of Wei Suo. It is the best ancient temple of the powerful energy. It is the right arm of the right arm. Now that the ancient temple collapses, Wei Suo suddenly knows that the great treasure is not good, and sure enough, boom, hong, hong, the number of surging sound, the rest of the copper-colored ancient hall suddenly cannot support, have collapsed. Pa! The ancient temples that swept the powerful energy in the air collapsed. Many gold wind lines directly fell on the outermost great treasure divine light screen. The divine light screen slightly subsided, and the horse burst open, and then Wei the only intact copper-colored temple next to Suo also collapsed completely. By this time, all the shapeshift great art arrays and the great treasures that desolate race great treasure can leave have been completely destroyed. That is to say, in the face of the heavenly tribulation, all of them can only rely on Wei Suo itself. Pa! Pa! There are two surging sounds. Wei Suo himself has arranged 3 divine light screens. The divine light screen of this ancient copper temple is a total of 4 floors, but the divine light screen powerful energy of this ancient copper temple is far away. Wei Suo's divine light screen, this divine light screen is broken, just in the blink of an eye. Wei Suo is 2 layers of divine light screen that is instantly broken. This Wei Suo didn't have to think about anything else at all. The desperate controls Immortal Emperor Wood blocked themselves and Wang Wei and others, and the entire defensive circle was reduced to only a few feet. Just a dozen breaths, one can't resist, the last layer of divine light screen was broken by a few gold wind lines, and the atmosphere like oven was wrapped in Wei Suo and others, if not Wei Suo and so on. It's all divine mystic great treasure. It's a general cultivator. It's just like this kind of heat can't bear it, and the naked body should be burnt. This is indeed a fragment of shapeshift great art great treasure that is too sloppy. The only thing that made Wei Suo happy was that the Immortal Emperor Wood and Great Heaven's nature bottle couldn't resist the golden wind line that hit the golden fragment on the top of the head, but it didn't seem to cause any damage. Although looking at this mixed gold fragment is extremely resistant, but Wei Suo did not dare to let go of Immortal Emperor Wood, let this mixed gold fragment block. Because this thing is a fragment after all, no one knows how long it can support, and the most great treasure of this mixed gold fragment is to resist the star ray. Now the star ray that is shot with the golden wind line is a little more than before. Times, without this mixed golden fragment to resist, the damage to their flesh is definitely amazing, and the use of the body of the physical herb may not make up. _crew first name Commonwealth 26 crew first name Commonwealth 26. Just as all the restrictions around Wei Suo and others broke down, and only the last few things were left to die, the desolate race side was a picture of extremely miserable and stunning intercourse. The bodies of all the fallen deserty race great treasures have been used to resist, and all have been burned to ashes by the golden wind. Now that the remaining live desolate race great treasure has only about 40 left, and the 8-armed desolate race great treasure can be compared with a few 4 or 5 desolate race great treasure, the rest of the desolate race great treasure can under the puncture of the stars, all of them grew up with goldfish-like blood, and they braved a blue-yellow pus blood. 3 deserty race great treasures are desperately trying to apply shapeshift great art, with 20 black long blades spinning in the air to form a black vortex. The underside of the blue divine light form divine like a giant column, twisting in the void. The most amazing thing is that a cultivator great treasure dressed in a blue shapeshift great art suit, he turned out a female Deo venerable backed by a blood-red moon, fell on a colorful lotus table, with both hands and feet the dazzling shapeshift great art ring, a little red in the eyebrows, the eyes of the eyes are constantly flying out of the crystal tears and the petals of the sky. The cultivator great treasure of the Taoist priest who casts on the desolate race side can be the real true immortal, an astonishingly true immortal chi expansion in his body like a tidal wave, and this breath of great treasure, far from the 4-armed desolate race great treasure, which means that the cultivator great cultivation base of the priest dressed up, at least in the true immortal second layer. At this time, the evolution of true immortal was extremely magnificent. The magnificent treasure was so magnificent that the tears and the petals of the sky swept the gold and fire lines directly. It was difficult to describe it in words. Compared to the evolution of this true immortal, many of the cultivating world's sex heritage shapeshift great art devices can only be considered slag. Even so, the cultivator great treasure can be as long as shapeshift great art, and the stunning female Deo venerable has slowly turned into nothingness, and finally dissipated into a beautiful glow. Ah, another desolate race great treasure can't support it. After a scream of unsuccessful sound, it falls directly under the killing of the stars. And this desolate race great treasure can only be a moment of degeneration, and a nearby desolate race great treasure can sacrifice the horse's naked body as a shapeshift great art shield. The fallen desolate race great treasure was able to be a slam dunk, and after a while, it was burnt into a horse's nest, and then it became ash. It's been time for a stick of incense. How does this golden wind line still not disappear? Outside of heavenly tribulation, Zhang Sunjing and Zhang Sunziru and Huang Daijun couldn't help but look at each other and see the meaning in the other's eyes. At this moment, the gold wind line has begun to drop a stick of incense time. Now they can see that the Reserve place has cultivators escape light, many cultivators are coming soon, the first few rounds are the time to approach a stick of incense is over, but the gold hotline at the moment is a bit sparse. What is this lust condition? At this time, Wei Suo in heavenly tribulation was also looking at the sky with a look of suspicion. Wang Wei has just surging sound saying that the time of a stick of incense has passed, but it is obvious that the gold wind line is not sparse. This is not good. After a moment of resistance, Wei Suo suddenly changed his face suddenly, because he felt that his own immortal emperor would seem to be a bit unbearable. The material and the inner chi rule did not change, but the naked body was to be rushed. It feels like breaking into pieces. Shapeshift great art great treasure if it was broken, its own origin chi will also be created by great treasure, so with this feeling, Wei Suo is almost subconscious, and immortal emperor wood is collected back at once. At this time, Wei Suo took another breath of air. In the sky, there was a terrifying inner chi pressed, and the whole robber cloud changed color, from pure golden yellow. It's colorful, the color can't be said to be modeled, and at the same time, the golden wind line is still not seen. The last great treasure heaven's might is here. We can survive and survive, we will all die here. At this time, what Wei Suo didn't know was that the 8-armed desolate race great treasure had the forehead jumping, and called surging sound. If the anger and depression in the heart of the 8-armed desolate race great treasure can be turned into a great treasure fire, then Wei Suo may have been burned to death. Heavenly tribulation. This kind of thing is definitely anyone who has never experienced a second time and wants to be afraid of it. This 8-armed desolate race great treasure has already experienced heavenly tribulation, but it was forced by Wei Suo to experience the second time. Boom! Wei Suo looked down at the sky and changed the clouds. Suddenly, like a great treasure six, the robbery clouds on the top of the head collapsed. Wei Suo's eyes are instantly smashing the great treasure to the limit, and the eyes are about to fall out. He saw that in addition to the golden wind line still in the sky, there are countless heavenly fires, lightning, comets, and 9-day yin winds. It's too much chaos to see how much chaos, more terrifying is more terrifying. Just the same thing can't hold back, even came a level of great treasure chowder. After the golden wind, what is it like this? The sights of Zhangsun Jing, Zhangsun Zairu, and Huangdaya Jun are completely solidified, and the god of the face does not know what words to use. No shapeshift great art. Golden fragment brothers, you have to support it for a little longer. Seeing the scene in front of him, Wei Suo simply said to the heart, and said to Wu Wei and others that if you give me the great heavens nature bottle and this mixed golden fragment anyway, I will straighten my hands and swing. There is a dragon shape, nothing to do, just use heavenly dragon star body tempering technique cultivation. Now, with the exception of some spirit pellet spiritual herbs, Wei Suo has only the great heavens nature bottle and the mixed gold fragment that can be topped. There is nothing else to do, just look at how long it can last. Can you make your body more powerful? Boom, boom. Dang. In an instant, all kinds of great treasure miscellaneous powers hit the area where Wei Suo and others were completely annihilated by various flames. So terrifying astral origin chi, Wei Suo heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. Just at the beginning, Ma felt that his naked body began to burn from the inside out. Now astral origin chi is too thick for Wei Suo's current body. If you are seriously ill, you have to get a good medicine. Wei Suo is also awkward. In addition to replenishing a batch of water attribute monster core, several ready-made immortal level spiritual herbs are swallowed directly into the belly, even the great emperor holy spring water from myriad phoenix's palace intercourse. I took it out first. Hard to withstand the damage of astral origin chi, using the most violent means to temper the body.